Is there a thought that you keep having that you don't want to have, but no matter what you've tried to get rid of it, it keeps coming back? In this video, you will learn why that happens and what to do with these thoughts that works. Hey everyone, welcome back to Becoming an Expert at Self-Leadership. I'm Maika, I'm a psychologist, and this is part 5 of the Cognitive Defusion course. We have already discussed what cognitive defusion is and why it matters, the different types of upsetting thoughts people have, how to know you're hooked by an upsetting thought, how and why we get hooked by thoughts, why they get stuck in our mind. And this video is about unhooking fails, things you may have tried to get rid of certain thoughts that don't work, and the type of approach that actually does work. To understand unhooking fails, we need to take a step back and look at what happens in the mind before that. It all starts out with an unpleasant thought. This is followed by judgment and appraisal of this thought. This thought is bad. This thought is dangerous. I shouldn't be having this thought. That leads to physical and emotional arousal, tension, discomfort, anxiety. Next, you may try to do something to decrease this anxiety. And when that attempt is based on the intention of trying to get rid of, avoid, neutralize the original thought, it's an unhooking fail. This is so because whenever we try to get rid of a thought or avoid it, it comes back more strongly. This is called paradoxical effort. We invest more effort into a goal, but instead of helping us achieve that goal, we increase our problem with this strategy and this specific type of effort. In general, when we invest effort in life, it helps us achieve our goals. If you work hard, you get things done. If you practice, you develop a skill. But there are some goals where this doesn't work. If we try to invest more effort with these goals, like the goal of getting rid of a specific thought, we fail to achieve them even more. And this is called paradoxical effort. Examples for this are you can't fall asleep more quickly if you forcefully try to focus on falling asleep. You'll just be more tense. You can't get out of quicksand by struggling harder. Okay, that's probably an example that most of you haven't and hopefully won't ever experience, but I think it's a great example to get the point across. You can't reduce anxiety and stress by breathing more quickly. You can't perform better by putting yourself under more pressure. You can't be less distracted by background noise by trying to forcefully ignore it. You can't force yourself to feel a certain emotion, and you can't think less of a thought by trying not to think it, by forbidding it, by trying to push it out. You can try right now. Try not to think of a pink elephant. Whatever you think of right now, it can be anything, but not a pink elephant. No pink elephant, no pink elephant, no pink elephant. Of course, what you're all thinking of now is a pink elephant. We can't have thoughts less by deciding not to have them. There are many things you may have tried to get rid of or stop yourself from having a certain thought. You may have tried to distract yourself from it. You may have tried to repeat positive affirmations. You may have tried to meditate or pray. You may have tried to argue or debate the thought away. You may have tried to reassure yourself, this will never happen. You may have tried to get reassurance from somebody else. Do you think this will happen? No. Am I this kind of a person? No, you're not. You may have tried to decrease your stress level. You may have tried to eat healthy, exercise more, get better sleep. You may have tried to muster more willpower or come up with an emergency plan. And none of this will have worked if you apply it to the goal of trying not to have a certain thought or get rid of a certain thought. This isn't because there's something wrong with you or because these things are a waste of time in general, but because of paradoxical effort. If a certain thing doesn't work, more effort will not make this thing work. So you can put more and more effort into things to try not to have certain thoughts. And even if these things help you in other ways, they won't help you not to have or get rid of a certain thought. And that's because that's not possible. It's not possible to get rid of a thought. We can't decide which thoughts we want to have and which ones we don't want to have. We can't control our minds to that degree. They're independent in that way. And when we declare that we're not going to have a certain thought anymore, it just gets more stuck in our mind. You may have discovered this and now decided, well, if I can't make a thought go away when it comes up, I'll just avoid triggering it in the first place. This is also a problematic coping strategy that doesn't work and takes away from your life, and it's called avoidance. So if you're afraid of intrusive thoughts about knives, you may start hiding your kitchen knives or stop using them. Or if you're afraid of intrusive thoughts about children, you may stop interacting with them. If you're afraid of frightening images related to spiders, you may stop going into the forest or basement. If you don't want to have certain thoughts about a person, you may stop meeting this person. If you're afraid of thoughts revolving around failure, you may stop trying to succeed. If you're afraid of thoughts that you have when you're alone, you may stop being alone. If you're afraid of thoughts revolving around hopelessness, you may stop trying new things in case they go wrong. The problem with avoidance is that it shrinks our life, our range of activities, options, opportunities, number of relationships, and it also increases fear of the original thought. If you teach your brain by your actions that to be safe, I need to avoid forests and basements, these things will start feeling more and more like real threats and dangers. In summary, you can't struggle away a thought with extra effort or avoid having certain thoughts by rearranging where you go, where you put things, or with whom you interact. The way out of this cycle is to allow thoughts to come and go on their own accord. You don't have to like all of your thoughts. You don't have to want all of your thoughts. But you have to allow and accept that you can't control whether or not you have certain thoughts. When you respond to a thought that you find uncomfortable by just noticing it without getting pulled into a debate of wanting reassurance that this won't happen, or without attempted suppression, this thought will pass more quickly and come back less frequently. The problem of responding to intrusive thoughts with struggle avoidance, debates of reassurance, saying things like, don't worry, this is very unlikely, it'll never happen, you're not that kind of a person, is that it only works in the short term. Doubt and a sense of insecurity will start creeping up again, and then you'll have to start the whole cycle over again and have to reassure yourself again. That's because by the act of debating this thought and finding reassurance, you are strengthening this cycle, because you're telling your brain this is a real threat and danger. That's why I need to debate it and reassure myself. If it were just a weird thought without any facts to it, I could let it go. So by stopping the struggle and the avoidance, the debating, the reassuring, you're stepping out of this cycle, and your psyche can learn that this really must be totally safe and not dangerous, since it's not ringing any alarm bells. We're not debating it. We're not fighting against it. We're just noticing it and letting it pass. So what's the harm? What helps to get out of this cycle is to respond to a thought with, this is not a thought that needs a response. This is not a thought that needs me to be active in any way. This is not a thought that requires or deserves my attention, intervention, or control in any way. This is not worth a debate. There is no amount of reassurance that can get rid of risk and uncertainty in life. I'll just let this thought pass by. I'll let time pass. I'll notice, observe, and allow. What do you think? What are your experiences with this? Let us know in the comment section if you're up for it. If you're interested in early access to the videos that I'm creating for this course and extra material like extra videos and a cognitive fusion questionnaire, check out the first link in the description box. Till next time, take care. And remember, instead of trying to find endless new ways of reassuring yourself and protecting yourself from upsetting thoughts, there's a lot more power in responding to them with, it's just a thought. This does not require any response, debate, reassurance, or action whatsoever on my part.